reckless. I snatch you right out your Lexus. I'm moving blocks like it's Tetris. 100,000 by breakfast. Praying the Lord protect us.
Welcome back. Okay, so Jayson, after your time in the league, you faced a very different route. What happened in between?
Well, I got hurt playing an NBA game. That kind of set me on a way of not being in front of the fans and losing a lot of self-esteem. But I got picked up right away by NBC. And NBC, I was to Charles Barkley, like I told y'all before Charles Barkley, brought some humor in there, but something was missing. You know, Cam made something was missing, man. I just could just roar the crowd. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
You know, when you go to reporter, you know, and now you know people look at you different. Teammates, you know,
And you
stop.
still was young. It
You
wasn't
still
like
was
you
young,
did.
right? And people, you know, stop talking to you. But the biggest thing, I lost my routine. See, I used to get up in the morning when I had a game, feed my animals, and then I'll get on my tractor trailer, you know, 18-wheeler, and go drop off a dozer, then go to shoot around, you know, and then my dad had me come back, lay brick, and then I go play a basketball game, NBA game. That was my life.
Yeah.
You know, and then once I got hurt, I was just laying in the bed and, you know, mad at my friends as the new friends come in, and well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
When you let new friends in, you let old friends know your routine. All right, Jay, you had 2 tonight. You got to get up. You got to go leave. Now, well, what I got to leave for? So my new friends would say, Jay, man, the hell with that, man. You ain't working but 1 day a week, and you know, just started drinking too much and started getting reckless. But one night in particular, I bought I don't know if y'all know, but I lost 3 sisters. 2 sisters to AIDS. A guy once, when I was 13 years old, followed my sister into the house, stabbed her 17 times and beat her over the head with a hammer. We had to take down all the mirrors in our house because she was deformed, but she went to get a blood transfusion and she became the first woman in New York City to catch the AIDS virus. And it's not like when you have it now, there's ways you can deal with it. When you get it there, you die in 6 months. My other sister, Laura, you know, started, you know, trying to soothe her and started using drugs with her because they both got hooked on meth and heroin. And so I ended up losing both sisters there. And then I had another, thank you, man. And then I had another sister who I love so much. Her husband had a bad day and came home and had too much to drink and took a shotgun and blew her head off. Then killed himself. So, but my 2 first sisters,
How old were you when this happened?
14.
Both of these things?
Yeah, 14 with my first 2 sisters. But understand, my dad had jobs, my mom had jobs. You know, my dad was a truck driver, and then he had a gas station on 151st and 7th, and then he also laid brick.
Gas station
Yeah,
too.
you know, yeah. So he had to do that.
Stomping grounds over there.
Yeah, right across from the tennis court. So, but I had to sign with St. John's. And then after school, you know, so I couldn't let them go to foster care. My mom wasn't working, so I moved them in with me. So they just a few years younger than me. You know, like I'm 18 at this time. One is 11, one is 8. And, you know, I wake up the little boy first in Queens and drive him to Manhattan, then come back and wake up the girl, you know, who's my daughter adoptedly now, legally, and then wake them up because if not, you know, Children's Child Services would take them. So, you know, to get her to school, and then I had to go to school, then after school go Manhattan, pick them up, then go to Queens, pick them up, then bring them to practice, let them run around. Wow. St. John's University was not kind enough to let that happen. And then I would, you know, have to bring them home, get them washed up, you know, give them food, help them with their homework, and then put them to bed. I had to do the same thing and still try to do what an 18-year-old does, playing at the most famous university in the world in New York City.
Right.
So I had them issues. And when we fast forward to the accident that I caused in 2002.
Well, before you get there, do you think the things that you went through when you were young played any role in your adult life?
Yeah, I think when you have a African-American father and a white mother, you know, 50 years ago, it's not like it is now. We see every commercial.
Yeah.
You know, so my dad and mom have both been married before. So my mother married a Spanish man, so she had Spanish daughters. My dad had African-American kids. And then I moved to the deep South because they thought it was, good time to move away from racism from,
Yeah.
New York City. And then we moved to a little town called Ritter, South Carolina. And most people haven't even seen a white person, let alone a white and a black together in a high yellow like myself. So I had to use my imagination and play by myself. So a lot of times, but I knew something was off because I said, you know what? Even though I got beat up when I came every day on the bus, I couldn't tell my dad because he would go hurt somebody. And even when my uncle did something to me, I couldn't tell my dad what his brother did because I know he would have killed him and I wouldn't have seen him.
What did his brother do?
Yeah, my uncle molested me, and that's the nice way to say it.
Wow.
So if there is a nice way to say it, that's the easy way to say it. But what we did do is I knew that I had to keep my family together at all times. So I couldn't sell. My dad went to his grave not knowing that. I've always been about keeping my core people, and that's what killed me, Mace. That's what killed me. I mean, if you fast forward to it, like I'm a core person. Like you, my crew. If you with me, I roll with you.
That's why I was getting at that, because as I was following your story, that's the first thing I thought about. I was thinking something, and I shared this with Cam. I said something had to happen young for the things that transpired later, because me being a person outside of music and stuff, I did a lot of training and therapy and stuff like that. So I kind of understood that. So all of the actions that you were making, I was able to follow that, like not therapeutic, but therapeutic, you know, and noticing that these things happen and they never went away. So even though you got older and you got money, like we was talking about the Gary Coleman syndrome, it's like those things don't leave because you got money. So it's like, I didn't know exactly what happened, but you made mention in one of your documentaries or the conversation where you said somebody broke a pool table, a pool stick over the head because of something that happened, and I was gonna ask you, what was that? But I guess this was that thing that made him break the pool stick over his head.
Right.
So as you got older, did anything change? Was this a one-time thing? Was this like, just for the listeners who are listening?
You know what? It didn't. Let's fast forward over the accident. Let's go 23 years to where we are today. So about 5 months ago, I got elected into the St. John's Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I gave more money to St. John's. I'm the only player to ever donate money to St. John's. I donated $2.1 million.
The only player?
Yeah.
What about Mark Jackson?
You know, Mark is, you know how you preachers get. Y'all get frugal.
Come on me, Mark. There's your benevolence, Mark. Come on, Mark.
Yeah. I remember I used to come to the church. I come a little late. They say, "Oh, we're gonna pass that play to girl one more time."
Right.
No, Mark didn't make no donation. I love him, but he didn't make none. I'm the only player ever. The only player ever.
Luke Sega would not like that, Mark.
For the only player ever.
You fast forward to 23 years later.
Right, that they give me an award, and the night before, my manager wakes me up and says, "Hey man, your kids just put out a press release on you." And in the press release was, saying he's not a good father, y'all shouldn't give him an award. And then St. John's came back and said, "Hey, we give him an award on what he's been through, a lot of trauma when he was a kid, and that he's been great here, and he runs a treatment center for drugs and alcohol, and has helped 325 people save lives," and they put that all in there. But the one thing that hit me was when he said trauma. I was like, I never had no trauma.
Yeah.
Because trauma mean like my daddy wasn't protecting me. My daddy's my own everything. He protected me, him and my mama. So that word stuck with me. But see, trauma is not the actual event. It's how we remember it.
Exactly.
That's the trauma. And I did have trauma. Because you know how we are in our family, if something happens to us, we go to the funeral and then we tell what we love about it and we have some laughs about it, we cry, and then we the next man up. So when people say, how can you raise 2 children in college? It's impossible.
Right.
It's just, I'm the next person up.
Right.
But you deal with a lot of stuff and then you keep building it up. And then when you have a treatment center, you can hear other people and I could be a warning or an example to them down in Rebound, and you got to walk, a certain way, and got to, so, it's not a way I deflect, but going back, if you want to go back to the night of the accident, that was with my dad, who's my best friend, who was with me everywhere, not what the press says it is. It was my dad, my children now, who were with me at St. John's, I adopted, and their children. So my grandchildren went to watch the Globetrotters. And there was a couple of Globetrotters playing that will play with me with the Nets. And I didn't like that. I said, nah, man, they must need some money. So I said, man, when y'all finish, come back by my house.
Not to cut you off, you didn't like it because they were former NBA players that had to subject themselves to go play at the Globetrotters?
Yes, and not to say the Globetrotters, if they weren't, they had to play for the Globetrotters.
More of the story, you didn't like it.
I didn't like it, and I'm not taking anything away from the Globetrotters.
Right.
And I like these two guys. And so I said, hey man, when it comes over, come to my house, I'll give you some money. And we went out, get something to eat, went over to the house. We ate, the limousine driver, Mr. Gustafi, family, was family with us. He came in and he ate with us in the restaurant, and then we all got in the car to go over. And I've never met him before in my life, Mr. Gustafi, the limousine driver. And I went home, and to be real, instead of showing people the Picassos that I had, gotten and everything else, I went into my bedroom where I have all these guns that are locked up, and because we have skeet machines. And somebody had given me some nice shotguns in there. And
What's a skeet machine for those who don't know?
A skeet machine is where they throw clay up and you go, so it's shotguns, it wasn't pistols. And I was showing it to him, and while I was passing one out, when I passed one this way, and the gun went off and it hit Mr. Safi in the chest. And
so how many did you pass out before that?
About 7 or 8, and I didn't
so
even know
that
he
was the last
there.
gun?
It was the last one. And I didn't even see him there. And, I thought he'd be in the car. I thought everybody, and I was just doing that. So now I'm going to go back, get the money, give it to them going their way. But I acted like a coward. I ran and then jumped in the pool. They said I was in shock. And anything, I tell you this, I don't wake up any day not feeling remorse or sorry and repentful for what I have done. So I'm not proud of it. And, I talk all around the country about gun safety. You couldn't give me a gun. I see a young man but standing behind us with 2 of them, like that wouldn't have bothered me back then. Today it does. And if you ask me the question, Cam, why do we ever carry guns as famous as we are? You know what? It's never because we gonna get robbed in the club. It's just because that new inner circle we let in. And we would have stuck with our same old boys who we grew up in, the people that helped you out, it's that we get that new group, we'll bring in a new group, and then you gotta let them know, yo, I ain't no sucker, right? And so, if it ain't, you ain't gonna be blackmailing or doing something like this, and your self-esteem is gone. And when self-esteem is gone, you drink yourself
what would they
to
be
death.
Blackmailing you off?
For anything. They know where your money is, you know what I'm saying? They know you might not be home with your wife when you're supposed to be, anything, They could beat anything with it.
Speaking of that, with this particular situation that we're talking about now, when you was going trial or when you was home waiting to go to trial, anything like that, did one of your friends try to extort you for money or a job or something like that, Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Wow. It's funny that you say that because I just did an autograph signing last week and he was there.
Wow.
And my manager's a Christian guy and Curtis Martin prays with us every Wednesday. We have a conversation.
Right.
And he walked in, man, and now older Jayson, look, the person who did that to my sister, they found him. His name was Sergio.
Right.
And then they brought him to me and said, Jay, Apache. He said, Jay, shoot this guy. He's the one who killed both your sisters. Gave me a gun, I didn't do it. I'm not a killer.
Right.
And then for 4 or 5 years, go around the neighborhood, oh, Jay ain't no killer. Jay ain't no killer. But so now we go into a situation where
and this
is
before the incident?
Yeah, this is right. We caught them before I was even, 19, 18 years old. But now we fast forward to Benoit, Benoit wanted some money for to say, I said, look, bro, just tell the truth. Just tell the truth, man.
Right.
And he might have been in a bad position, and that's what I told my lawyer. He's in a bad position. Let me just take care of him. I ain't buying the truth.
Right.
Let's let this thing go away. My lawyer said, no, you can't do that, Jay. And then I ended up seeing him last week at an autograph signing, and he just came up to me and this close and was hugging me and like, man, Jay, you remember when we was crazy? Like not even remembering all the stuff he has caused.
Right.
But, I started crying because—
What did you do, not to fast forward from your visit, from you seeing him last week, but when that actually happened, what was your reaction? 'Cause like, what do you mean you want some money from me? What do you mean give you a job for your testimony? How did you handle that friendship? Did you see him in between?
Nah, but my thing was, what is the NBA player asking for this low amount for? Just give it to him to tell the truth and let's get up, give it to him. That's what I said.
Benjamin, the basketball thing?
Yeah, I was like, give it to him. So I said, I was just like, this a long time ago with my lawyers. Sometimes lawyers want to make stuff drag out.
Protect you.
You know what I'm saying? And protect you. So I don't know. But regardless, man, they put him on the stand. Everybody else said one thing. He said another. Jury saw it my way. They know it was an accident. It's just what I did after the accident, which I take full responsibility for, man. And, but seeing him, and him hugging me, man, it was a good chance. I wanted to let all the little kids outside and lock the door on him. But you know what? God has taken me so far, right now, helping people, that man. If I had did that,
I love
God too. Cam, I would have gave it back, man. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you, man, at the very end, he came up to me and I said, I'm out, man. And I even told him I'm out. And he ran up to me and he came and was this close to my face and he said, Jay, I need help, man. I need help. And I said, look here, man. He says, take me with you. I said, look, man, I'm clean and sober. I run a treatment center down here. 7 years. He was like,
last week,
yeah,
he asked you to take him with you?
Yeah. And you know what, man? And this is there. God's
y'all
honest
niggas
truth,
some
man.
cool niggas. I would slap the shit out, but fuck you mean you coming with me after you try to extort me for testimony that could have possibly sent me to jail for the rest of my life if they didn't see a manslaughter for money or job. It ended up getting wiped away. You see him however many years later, nigga like, yo, can I go with you? Yeah. Nah, you might just I might spit on him.
Tell you, man, and it was hard. It was a weird, hard day getting out of there. And then a week later, people were saying that Benoit was calling them because he got everybody's number. And then I called the NBA and said, would y'all mind if I help Benoit get into Rebound because it looks like he's going through some issues. And he said, well, he just called up to you and cursed us out right now, but let's get back to you. So, like a person like that, I called Mark Cuban and say, hey, man, maybe we can help this person, or maybe not. Or Mark might say, same thing you just said. Man, that dude just tried to lie and put you in jail for the rest of your life, Jay. You can't save everybody. So that's where it goes,
Let me ask you something. When you make this statement, I take full responsibility, what does that mean?
That means for leaving the accident and causing it too. Because look, man, I could have been showing them my pictures. I could have shown my old cars, new cars, my tractor trailers I drive every day. Here I am showing guns. You know what I'm saying? If I was with my older group, my people, my college coach and everybody, they would say, Jay, what the hell are you showing that gun for? What you showing them that for? They in the case, they could see. You know what I'm saying? But something was off. If I didn't trust something or, but there wasn't like it was handguns. It was just shotguns that we use shooting skeet, which I shot every day. But, still shouldn't have been around it.
Yeah, but what makes you say I took full responsibility? What does
because
that
if I would have
like?
never went to that case, Mr. Christophe would still be alive.
That's what I'm talking about.
He'd still be alive. I couldn't control that accident.
So you end up going to jail. How was it? What was your time like while you was in jail?
It ain't no joke. These little kids out here running around now, they think, let's go with the simple stuff first. Cam, they say, well, yeah, man, I can do time. I ain't worrying about it. Maybe these little, rugrats can do time, but can their grandmama do it? Can their mama do it? Can their daddy do it while you in there? But when you come out, look, when I came out, I was like, all right, I'm going to go into, I want to live in that building right there. Just told my agent, called me back. He said, oh, you can't live in that building. And I said, well, he said, pick another one. I was like, why? That's the newest one. It's in the Lower East Side. He said, Jay, pick another one. I said, why can't I live there? He said, they got an HOA, Homeowners Association. I said, what does that mean? He said, that means you're a convicted felon. Now think about that. If they send you back, Cam, to your neighborhood, of course you living next door to a convicted felon, right? Most likely we have another one in our family, right? Or somewhere.
Right.
So it's hard to find, that source. But the hardest part for me was I'm claustrophobic. So putting me, I ain't scared of no wolves. Now look, man, I'm in the northern state, mid-state, Broadway, Rikers Island. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Once they close that door, it could sound like this. Bam. And then you'd be like, whoa. Bam, one more time. And I'd be like, why they gotta lock the damn door twice? And all the stuff that they tell you 6 by 8, that ain't true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can't lay neither way to stretch my legs. And the ceilings were high, but I couldn't stretch my hand and just counting my breath, man. And that's why I would never ever, see anything in a cage and not release it. And that's why I have reentry programs, for people to be truck drivers and construction. Yeah, but let me tell you something, man. And look, I ain't never scared of no wolves. We all been in here. I'm from the Lower East Side.
Right.
I'm not scared of the wolves in there. I can handle 4 or 5 of them. That means I can handle 15,000 with a track of holds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the way you carried yourself with great humility and the way I carried myself on the street. The way I carried myself on the street is what got me over in there, because I wasn't, trying to, pop my collar on
What's
people.
the craziest thing happened? We'll move past jail. The craziest shit in jail that happened while you were there.
I'll tell you 2 stories. One would remind me about the coffee machine, and I'll tell you this one. We had this brother in there, his name was Joe Johnson. He was like a heavyweight champion. He'd been in jail 25 years.
Yeah.
So they like became my bodyguard, his self-acclaimed, because, when you go to Broadway, they got the booty bandits, and they'd be like, hey, man, they come in and then they surround you. And then one bug can come in.
Jay, when you up here, when you say booty bandit, just say pause after it so nobody talk about you real quick. Yes. The booty bandits, you gotta say pause after it.
Okay, all right. So you got the booty bandits.
Yeah.
Pause. You know what I'm saying? So over there, and what they do, man, is they surround these young kids that come in. They know that you're young. These kids made one mistake, punch somebody in the face, going to jail. Then that's why they take their shoelaces and their belts, and they got saggers. That's where they start wearing their pants like that. So people don't know that. And you're wearing your pants sagging off your butt, they know that you're a newbie, and then somebody come over there and say, hey, man, put you in this cell with this guy, he protect you. Then he'll do what he does. So I came in there trying to be a superhero, trying to change that. But changing that, to be honest with you, it's just like you, man, through God. Because like people say, oh, everybody, you find God when you go to jail. Man, when they lock that damn door twice and there ain't nobody been in there but you, and you feel like you got just enough air to make it until tomorrow, you better pray on God. So you asked me one of the stories, Cam. So this big dude, Joe Johnson, he was my bodyguard. Boy, you know they big, and you know who just came out of jail. We know. Right? So they big up here, got little legs, right? There ain't no legs machines there, right? They just doing chin-ups, right? If you see a white dude and he can play spades, you know damn well he been in jail, right? So this dude, Joe Johnson, always with me, 6'10", muscles everywhere, standing behind me all the time. And so one day, I'm telling stories like we telling here. And then one day I told a story about him. I said, man, and then we call him Bojack, right? So I said, man, Bojack. And he's like, what's up, boss? I said, you remember when Paisan was cutting your hair and he was on that heroin and he fell asleep and he messed your hair up? And everybody started laughing, but ain't nobody ever laughed at him. You know, he'd been in there 27 years.
Right.
Right? So he said, hey, boss, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah. He said, let's go in the bathroom. I said, yeah, let's go in the bathroom, you know? I went in the bathroom, and the boy, when he walked, he like Terry Crews. He could make all this bounce around and do nothing. And he said, you see all this? He said, see,
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
all these muscles. He said, see all these muscles? He said, ma'am, you see, I can't fight. I got a lot of muscles, but I can't fight. But don't let me jump off on your big ass and find out you can't fight either.
Hey, yo.
You know, and that was the coldest shit somebody ever told me. So when I went back, I was like, whoa, that's cold, right? Yeah. And then another time, I just saw a guy get, you know, his back broken, and then they went to the coffee machine and just got the coffee melting to death. You see a lot of stuff, man. You know, you stay in there long enough. But hey,
crazy.
but you know what? Cam, this is the thing. Nobody ever came up to me and said, yo, man, let me get your coffee. Let me get your cigarettes. They all said, Jay, when I get out of here, can you help me with a job? Because if a brother got a job, he got respect.
Right.
And we got to get brothers jobs. And I'm glad I'm on this platform such large, because I know Jay-Z got a reentry program. You know, never called me, and that's my brother. Like, brother, nobody else knows it better than me that you can talk to. It's close, tell you to help you.
We
you know,
both
and
had
then
battles with Jayson.
and then the Kardashians, right? You know all that other stuff. You got to get people back into society. They're called returned citizens. You know, so you got to help them return.
Are you finding that hard?
I'm finding it. You know, I go into prisons. You know, maybe once a month, and I speak, and then I have a program where I say, look, come to this tractor trailer school and heavy equipment school, and we're gonna help round up a little money if we can, and then get you in there. It has a hotel, and you're gonna run heavy machinery, and then you're gonna drive trucks on our 350 acres, and then you're gonna leave with a job with your CDL Class A, and then you're gonna leave with your certification to move heavy machinery where you can make $25, $30, $35 an hour. And check this out. What's good about that, Cam? Think about parole, right? Now they can get themselves in a tractor trailer, and if the parole officer agrees, you know, they up and down the tractor trailer. They can live in the tractor trailer. They don't have to live back in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? They're
Right.
living in the back while they're making money.
Got you.
But you know, I don't never hear from no one. Nobody ever. I don't hear from Jay. I don't hear from Kardashians. You know, I'm steady doing this stuff myself.
Right.
You know?
Did you know Kim Kardashian before this?
No, and hell no, you ain't gonna trick me into that one.
No,
Not
you
me.
said you're not hearing from him. I want to know why would you be hearing from him?
Well, they got
If you
some
don't
going.
know.
If they do their homework, there's no re-entry.
So,
You know?
so
No,
really
but-
quick, I want you to be able to elaborate on this for the viewers who are watching. So you did create a reentry program
Yes.
and Rebound Treatment Center. So can you elaborate a little bit on that and things that you've been able to accomplish?
Okay, two different entities in itself. Okay, the re-entry program is for people coming out of jail, men and women, right? They come out of jail, they go up to Jacksonville, Florida. We help them get their driver's license, CDL Class
You
A.
from Jackson,
Right, and then we do heavy equipment. That's one. Now, what I mainly do every day here in Florida, right, is that we have a drug and alcohol treatment center, a retreat, where you come in from anxiety, depression, you know, any kind of drug, and especially with this fentanyl that's going around right now, we get you better. And we're not by going from class to class. We have those too, but do outdoor adventure therapy. So like yesterday, we jumping out of airplanes. The day before, I'm flying an airplane, teaching you how to fly one, doing takeoff and land. You get scuba dive certified.
You
know?
teaching them how to fly.
Yes, and get scuba dive certified also. We're doing wave running, paddle boarding. We have horses, goats, all that stuff you're getting on. And we could look right now, me and you can be the toughest dudes in the room. But when I put you in that airplane, 13,000 feet, and you know,
You're not putting me in no airplane.
you know what I'm saying? See, now we getting somewhere though. Now we getting somewhere, right? We getting to the comfort level. You know, then we really start talking about it. You know, so, you know, especially, you know, the brothers, man, we get them on the boat and they'd be like, what are we gonna do on this boat? We're gonna stay on the boat. And I said, no, we're going to 60 feet, man. I can't drink all this water. I said, no, brother, we going down. Plus, you know, and now we had the Newark Fire Department, you know, come down.
Right.
And they came, and now what they did, one dude got better, AD, and he went back and he started teaching people and became a master diver. Now they go all around the world and he put that alcohol and drugs down and they just do scuba diving. So it's, it's not just to get to the core. Everybody wants to label you.
Right.
We didn't have all these labels when we was a kid. You had 2 buses to went to school, right? We knew that. And I ain't gonna get in trouble. You had 2 buses, right? And then everybody else,
big
if
one,
you couldn't sit there.
the big bus and a smaller bus.
That's right. And
Why you don't want to say that?
You know?
You don't want to say the little bus?
you know what happens when you start putting that stuff up. So you had the little buses, you understood that from them. But some people couldn't stand still in class, and the teacher wrote a letter. The next day, now how did that kid get cured? His daddy came home, or his mama let him have it, because his mama ain't got time to go to the school, because she got 4 jobs, right? So we label every time. Somebody want to keep a clean room. Oh, he got OCD. Nah, he just want to keep a clean room. So every single person have to be labeled. When you come to us, we get you sober, get you off the 20 different pills that you're on now, right? And then we see where you're at. And then our psychiatrist might say, you know something? Yeah, Cam bipolar. Yeah, we might need to, but they might look at him and say, ain't nothing wrong with him, man. That brother's good. But anytime we have any kind of little trauma in our life, we need a pill to take it up. It's not how our body works. You're supposed to have some fear. You know what I'm saying? It's what keeps you alive.
Fear keeps you alive?
Definitely, it keeps me alive because look, how many times, some fear is good fear, Mace.
Where you get that from?
Hey, I must be on your records because I know this. So check this out. I know this. I got 2 strikes, right? You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm about to get him. I've been letting him go the whole time.
Yeah, but 2 strikes. That's, if I jumped off on Benoit, I jumped off on somebody, that's 3 strikes. So that's fear, like not getting in trouble again, because let me tell you something.
So you said fear keeps you alive.
Fear keeps you alive, keeps you alert, keeps me.
It keeps you alert. I'll go with that. It can keep you alert.
Right.
I'm just asking because I'm responsible to keep the truth on here.
Okay, yeah, it is. It is something that for me, look, man, if they say they got Jayson Williams, he got parking tickets, he got to go to jail for 3 years, y'all might as well put on the news and look over at Cam and say, yo, man, they ain't never taking that brother alive again, because I'm not going back in there. You know what I'm saying? That place is not meant for humans to be.
So you saying if you're in a situation and you got to go to jail, you're not going back?
I hope I'm not going back. You know what I'm trying to say.
I thought you were saying.
Going back.
I ain't going back, guy. I thought you ready to shoot out on the highway. That's what I took it as.
Jayson, let me ask you something. What was, when you came to the idea of saying, I'm going to go on this show, what was your purpose of going on the show?
First of all, I wanted to talk about African Americans and their uneducation of getting treatment.
Treatment from what?
Treatment from addiction, especially with fentanyl being out right now, because our brothers and sisters are dying on the street because they have the one pill, kill pill. And that's not being covered. Like, look, back in the day, you can go to treatment. Now, be honest, I didn't know what it was until I had to go.
Yeah.
But when you come up in there, if you would have said, I'm on crack, that was a code for, oh, you black. You wouldn't come to that treatment center. Yeah. But if you said I was on opioids, you was coming to that treatment center. You know what I'm saying? They have a bed for you. What I'm trying to tell you is happening again, all over again. Now with fentanyl, we are dying at an alarming rate, and we don't have any beds, and it's something that we need to, we need to learn.
How did that become your passion? From, like, your story? Right. Your story is one of triumph. Your story is about defeat. Your story is about overcoming. How did fentanyl become the thing that you're so passionate about?
It was alcohol and everything else that started with me. But then when I opened up my center, right, I think I was just I learned as I went. Yeah. I said, well, this guy's just a fall down drunk. We can get him better by structure, empathy, accountability, no white coat and stethoscope would help it. Yeah. Then it started changing because you got synthetic marijuana. They're putting different stuff in that stuff now, right? And you can get it right at the supermarket. You can get it right at any gas station. And then, now you go to opioids, and now, which, what what happened there. Like Richard Pryor used to say, you know, he'd be driving down, he said, white couple driving, and they'd get off the highway and watch, go, look at all these people. It's a shame, on drugs. And get home and find their 14-year-old daughter on drugs and go, damn, it's an epidemic. That means everybody doing it now. And so I grew organically with how it came in. I thought I was just gonna be dealing with people on drugs and alcohol and not as much as mental illness and how strong the drugs have become, and you not knowing what you're getting. You know, back in the day, you went and got some drugs. I'm guilty of it. You know what you were getting. You know who you're getting with it. Now where it's coming from, you know, they making it as ever they want and there's no restrictions, and they putting some of that stuff in everything just to keep you addicted to it.
So this is what I want to know. So with everything you've seen throughout your life, right?
Right.
What made you think make those decisions that you made? Since you've seen so many horrible things, what would make you make such a horrible decision?
As the accident is we using as a base?
That's one of them.
See, that wasn't even a decision. That was an accident. So I think as something that I always knew is, look, Jayson means healer. You know, in the Bible, you know that, Rev. You know, I always like when people, I always like when people can depend on me. Yeah. That makes me, give me peace. You know, look, I would love to do what y'all doing. You know, if y'all put another chair up in here, you know, if TNT or ABC or can have another one, look, I've come up with, I called Lawrence Tell. I said, Lawrence Tell. I said, Jeremy Shockey. I said, how about we do our own morning show? You know, what people would want to hear from us instead of, you know, the straight-laced guys who never got in trouble, you know, you think they're tuned in and listen to. That's what I really would want to do, you know what I'm saying? But those calls haven't been coming into. I want to do what y'all doing.
Why do you think that hasn't happened? Because I got an answer for you. But
I think because, you know, the success, you know, something that happened 23 years ago, I couldn't give you an answer to that. Only thing I could tell you is, man, is just one day at a time, one breath at a time for me to keep going. I'm sincerely sorry for what I've done. I'm remorseful, I'm repentful. I go through it. Sometimes when I'm having too much fun, I sit back and go, man, you shouldn't even be having fun. I beat myself up over it, but I got great people like Curtis Martin who has Bible conversations with me every Wednesday and our alumni. So what's holding me back from being back on the set? I guess me, you know, me. Sometimes, you know, you don't want to step out or you want to have step out. But here I am telling you, you know, I would love to do what y'all are doing and I would love to be back.
Yeah, we'll bring you back, man.
Yeah.
We'll definitely bring you back. Anything else you want to ask him? No. I got one more question. And I just want to know how this went. How'd you go straight to the pool? Like, how'd that go? Like, yo, fuck that chlorine, gonna clean this off.
Yeah, you know what? You know what happened?
You cleaned that
when
pistol
you hear,
off?
When you hear boom,
Yeah.
I didn't never remember being in it.
Right.
I didn't remember that when they read it.
Right.
I was like, I did what?
So you forgot you jumped in the pool
Didn't
until
even
you
know.
got to court?
Yeah, didn't even know. No, when they give you the discovery.
Okay.
Did you jump in the pool with the gun? Did you clean
No,
the gun?
I think the gun was left. The gun there. Right. The gun went
we
went
got
off.
time
The
to
gun
ask
was,
questions?
but never.
Yeah, we got some time.
Yeah, never ever. You know,
Because I read that and I was like, you jumped in the pool. So
never, no.
That's what I'm saying.
I was shocked.
Was you
and
just
the pool,
thinking the
and the pool
chlorine-
was 100 yards away, indoor.
So so you was thinking that the chlorine maybe could.
Maybe I was thinking that, but maybe not. I was just, you know, I must have been thinking something because I ran back up in there. But see, this is the difference though. If I had the right people with me, right, they'd have slapped me and said, yo, Jay, stop.
Right.
You had an accident.
Right.
What the hell are you doing? Don't move.
Right.
Even though we called 911 in 10 seconds. Right. You know,
you
911 was called in 10 seconds. It wasn't like we was doing
That's what I was going to ask you.
No, 911 was
what
called
made you go?
It was
immediately.
already on the way.
It was already on the way.
So when they got there, you was wet, pause?
I don't even remember. I didn't even remember.
I said pause, nigga.
Yeah.
What the fuck is you talking
That
about?
was crazy.
I said fucking pause.
That's crazy.
Yo, that's a legit question, nigga. That's legit. That's a legit question.
Okay. All right. So when all of this is going on, what would you say to the people that think this wasn't an accident? What would you say to them?
I won't say anything to them because I know it was an accident. And I went to court, it was an accident. I didn't know the man, had no beef with the man.
What would you say to somebody like Ja Morant?
Yeah.
What I tell John is, how one 11-second incident walking into your house and after 11 seconds could change your life, the same for him. He might have been told that already,
Well, I think he should look into the camera and
Yeah.
tell it to
Well,
Ja, because Ja will be watching.
What we do want you to do though, seriously, is let people know where they can find your treatment center at if they need help and who to go out to get in contact with you and your people.
What is it, Grace?
Reboundforlife.org.
Okay. If you need to get in contact with me, it's reboundforlife.org, and it's the 4 and 1-877-2-REBOUND.
Okay. Again,
Why
Jayson.
you don't know your shit by heart?
Man, I don't be messing with instruments,
Do you really love to do what you're doing while you actually a man? Are you just the face for this shit, or you really?
I think you should have went in the
Yo,
camera
are you
and
the
spoke
face or you really
directly
behind
to
this,
Ja.
Jay?
Ask him.
You put the work in? All right.
And then before we go to break, Jayson, do you have any next steps that you would like to share?
Hey, thank you for coming, man.
Man,
We
you're
appreciate you
hard,
guys,
man.
man.
Y'all-
Definitely.
Yeah. No, just brother, glad to see how y'all doing it up in here too.
Thank you,
like,
man.
this for real.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I do a podcast, I'll be like, y'all got it, green room, makeup, protection, everything else up in here, man. The producers, executive producer, Cord,
I appreciate that. We just
just
ain't
for
know how
real.
he was coming. He ain't on set every day. We just making sure he's all right.
Shit! Oh man! Man.
We ain't know how you was coming through. So but thank you, Jay.
Man.
Appreciate you, man. Make sure y'all go check out Jay's rehabilitation and treatment center. It sounds like fun. I mean, it sounds so good that I almost wished. Well, no, I don't wish that, but you got stuff for people who not on drugs. You got all type of activities and shit.
You're always welcome to come to Rebound and join us.
Thank you. So if you
Yes,
see me there, I'm not fucked up.
Right.
I'm just going to support.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, Jayson, thank you so much, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free.